Happy Wednesday, everybody. Am I on? Am I on? I can't see. Oh, there I go. Okay. Welcome to We Live in Color. I am so happy to be here today. I have a great guest, but before we do, remember to like, share, and subscribe to Converge Media and this channel, We Live in Color. I'm so happy to have my next guest today, not just because they're a person in community, but they're one of my best friends. When we talk about community, we don't give Black men an opportunity to be vulnerable or to have an opportunity to tell their truth. Today, Brandon Sanchez is my guest. This is going to be probably my best show. And I can't wait to talk to him, and he'll be back after these messages. You're watching We Live in Color.
Portland, once again it's on as Converge Media joins hands with the Trap Kitchen for the Trap Kitchen Weekend, Friday, November 18th at the Roseland Theater in downtown Portland. This is your guy Cool Nut from Converge Media and Jammin' 107.5, inviting you to join me, G. Perico, Jay Worthy, Savvy Third, Asia, and many more. Hosted by Trap Kitchen's own Monty Blanco from VH1's Black Ink Compton, as we celebrate food, music, and culture like only the Trap Kitchen can. Tap in with me in the Trap Kitchen Weekend, Friday, November 18th at the Roseland Theater here in Portland. And make sure and follow Trap Kitchen PDX for more details, or get your tickets today at roselandpdx.com.
A world of wonder awaits at Pacific Northwest Ballet's The Nutcracker. Treat your loved ones to the Northwest's favorite holiday tradition at Seattle Center's McCall Hall. Tickets start at $27. Visit pnb.org.
Basically, fam, believe in giving. Like, we have to be willing to give more, and people seem to always think giving means money, but nah, bro. It's like you can give time, you can give understanding, you can give access, you can give a listening ear and an open heart. You can give and share your God-given gifts and talents, but you just got to give.
And we're back with We Live in Color, and my guest today, Brandon Sanchez. What's up, brother?
What's up? How you doing?
I'm doing all right. I'm happy to have you here. You wear very many hats in community, from coaching to being an instructor in the schools with our youth. The work that you do with youth, community members have spoken volumes about it. But like, before we get there, can take us back. Like, what was it like growing up in this? Well, in the CD South end, because you was kind of Beacon Hillish, so you were kind of like in the middle. So,
Well, actually, I started up growing up in Yester Terrace. I spent my first couple of years over there with my uncle Junior Green, my cousin Michael Green, Deaunte. I did live in the South End for about 2 years throughout my time, but after that, I was mainly in the CD and Beacon Hill, like throughout high school.
And you played like for CAYs back then.
Yeah.
Before, because I think you were you playing before the name change, right?
Yeah. So ultimately, what started me even wanting to play football was my cousin Michael Green had this bomber jacket from CAY, like 92 champs. And I was like, I'm going to go play for them. And then after that, I played for CAY, then for CD Panthers, and that was that.
What was it like? Because I mean, we see right now, like with the death of Mr. Pickett, right, in community. What impact did your coaches have on you?
My coaches were really my only African American male mentors for me. Like, I ultimately played sports out of a way of like pain and frustration of how I was growing up in my community. Like, people don't know, but I really used to get bullied up until like seventh grade.
You got bullied.
Yeah.
Can we talk a little bit about that? Like,
Yeah.
You getting bullied?
I mean, for the most part, a lot of people, we grew up with a lot of cousins in the house, and I'm a nice kid. I didn't really like confrontation. So, but growing up, I went to 5 different schools from kindergarten to 5th grade. I went to Bailey Gasser, John Rogers, Olympic Hills, John Muir, Madrona. So I never really had that one best friend outside of my family. And so Then I went to McClure Middle School. My good friend Art, I was getting bullied in the 6th grade, and he was like, "Well, I'm gonna do something about that." And then it stopped happening. And then come 7th grade, I had a lot of stuff going on in my house,
Yeah.
and I was seeing a lot of violence and fighting. And then that's kind of when I started using my anger to fight. And
Yeah. And people don't talk like a lot about like like what we see and how we have to like learn it, especially getting bullied, like learning how to navigate that. We as Black men, we don't really get those tools, right?
Yeah, we grew up in an era where you can be weak, soft, and you can talk about. You can't talk about being bullied. I ain't had no older brothers to come defend me and do that. So ultimately, I had to take on that responsibility for myself, and got tired of being bullied. It's frowned upon to talk about your feelings when we was growing up. Nobody wants you to, there was nowhere to talk about your emotions or what you have going on. Nobody, no uncles and cousins is really going for that.
Yeah. So we got something here on the overlay with some of the pictures like of you growing up. But can you walk me through, because I see some with some brothers up there that you used to go to school with. So as you from middle school and high school, you had a group of brothers or community members that you hung out with a lot. You played football together and y'all went to school together. So tell us, I know I'm so used to talking about Rainier. I want to talk about Rainier Beach one day here, but a lot of my community members went to Garfield. So what was your experience like there?
For middle school, I went to McClure. My mom thought she was sending me, getting me out the CD away from Washington or Meany. End up going to McClure. Like my freshman year, they found guns on our campus, and like McClure was almost like another alternative school at the time. It was a lot of fights and a lot of stuff going on Queen Anne that people don't know about. Yeah. And then from that, I went to Garfield for all 4 years, which is the greatest high school in the country.
Okay.
It is.
Yes,
and
it
so,
is.
So while I was there, I kind of was going through a lot of like playing sports, but not because my grades. I wasn't really focused on school, and I had a couple of different groups of friends, because if I would have just stayed outside on the pyramids at the TLC in the CD, I probably wouldn't have been as lucky as a lot of my peers and stuff of getting caught up in other things.
And in that though, for what I do remember is every time when I remember seeing you were playing all the sports. So what were all the sports that you were playing throughout school?
In high school, I played basketball, football, and I ran track. I played baseball a lot. Baseball actually was probably my best sport. I was a left-handed catcher, shortstop, second base. That's like unheard of in baseball. But I've always been confident in sports because that was my outlet to my upbringing. Like, being around domestic violence in the house, seeing people killed through gun violence. Sports was just my outlet. Like that was my safe place. I knew I was going to take care of myself out there. So that's where I focused on getting past the trauma I was going through.
Can you give me any classic game like where you actually had good marks or scoring? Sorry, me and Mikey was talking about this early, scoring.
Oh, I had 29 on Franklin, at Franklin. Okay. I had 5 touchdowns in 3 quarters my senior year. I had 19 on Franklin at Garfield. I had some good moments. I wasn't really the biggest on basketball, and in football, I've only been scored on once from my junior year of high school and then my 1 year of junior college. So I think I'm really up there, one of the best of the best
okay.
in our era community. Yeah. So
I just always want to just make sure like we kind of like uplift that. Like I love when like I'm listening to y'all like talk about some of the old memories. And yeah, I used to come to some of the games, but a lot of our community members were dope back then.
Yeah, so I don't really talk about myself.
You don't.
I'm humble, and the people that know, the people that coached me or was around that time, my peers, they know. So yeah, I don't really do a lot of talking
at all. but I'm happy that you're here today. So, as you were going through life, you graduated 2003. What was it? I think you went to Dixie,
I went
right?
to Dixie State Junior College.
Okay.
I was scared to go. As you remember, when I was out there, I kind of got homesick and wasn't hearing from people back home. And I was like, I kind of cut you guys off just because it felt like I had to figure it out again. Like I'm by myself. People can't even pick up a phone to call or check on me. One of the dopest things for me though was my guy Brandon Sanchez ended up going to Dixie with me my first year. I'm like, he was smart. He went to Garfield with me all 4 years. He never had to do that. Like, but I feel like that was his way of kind of like trying to show it for me and help
for you.
Yeah. So that was dope for me to have him there the first year.
And how long did you play? Because you went there all 4 years, right?
Where?
Dixie.
No, I just went there 1 year because following that summer, I found out I had a child on the way, and I decided not to go back to the junior college and figure out how I was going to help raise my daughter.
And that is powerful. And like, so going through that process, right? What was that like stopping? Like, I mean, from what I remember, you were one of the dopest football players that I remember, right? Me and Mikey was talking about this earlier too. And it's like, what was like, you literally said, I'm gonna stop my career because this is mine, right?
Yeah, I always told myself when I have kids, I was gonna be there for them. I wasn't, my dad wasn't there, unfortunately. He went to jail for murder, but I always knew, regardless of what the situation was, I was gonna be present in my kid's life to give him a foundation that I didn't have. And so a lot of things that I'm doing now or even speaking now or like trying to navigate life now is because it was things I didn't have. I didn't, have the best family structure. I didn't have nobody telling me, oh yeah, go read your books, go to college and, earn your degree. I didn't have nobody teaching me how to court a girl for Tolo or none of those things. And so I learned I tell people I learned a lot of stuff off of broken love or broken ways.
Yeah.
And so, but I didn't want to be those ways. So no father, I'm gonna be a father to my kids.
And that is powerful. And what has the impact of like your daughter's name's Laisha.
Yeah.
So what has been the impact of like having her in your life?
It's been a great blessing. She's amazing. Like she played football in middle school. She did volleyball. She jumps off high dive. She's lifeguard certified. She's a senior this year, applying for colleges and stuff. And like she's always been like, both my kids have always been like happy. Like I enjoy the fact that they dance, they make videos of themselves, they have fun. Like she's been on Nickelodeon. She's played all sports. Yeah. She's just talented and beautiful.
Yeah, absolutely. Shout out to Lay. I know she's watching. And I want to talk more because I mean, there's so much more to your story. Your beautiful son, you in your areas of evolution. There's so much more to unpack, but we'll unpack some more of that when we come back. You're watching We Live in Color.
COVID-19 hurt my income, my health, and my family. We were about to lose our home when we heard we might be eligible for homeowner assistance funds from the government. We called 1-877-894-HOME, and a housing counselor stepped in, talked to our lender, and saved our home. Federal funding details at washingtonhaf.org. That's washingtonhaf.org.
Hey guys, Besa Gordon here, and before heading to Belize, Trey Holiday and I had to make sure we linked up with our good friends over at Market Street Shoes to, of course, grab a few things for the trip. From bags to socks, shoes, sunglasses, earrings, and more. Before going on any trip, make sure you stop at Market Street Shoes. Trust me, you'll find just what you need to make your trip not only enjoyable, but fashionable.
And we're back. You're watching We Live in Color, and I'm here with educator, coach Brandon Sanchez. He's laughing at me, but he got it. Okay, so you moved back home.
Yep.
And beautiful baby girl. What was it like kind of moving back home in that space, right? Like
it was hard, like I said, because while I was down in St. George, Utah, I kind of cut people off. because that's kind of just been a protection for me. Like if I feel like somebody's not showing up, which I've been used to my whole life, it's like, all right, cool. I don't need it. I got it. I'll figure it out. Even when I had met with Kiana's dad, he wanted to meet just to try to help me navigate the space of being young, 19, about to have a kid. And I was just like, oh, I'm cool. Like I had it all figured out, but there was no other adults, no uncles, no cousins, like checking to help me navigate that space. And I just was being real stubborn. And
Yeah. Were you still that angry kid still?
yeah,
Okay.
I still didn't have there still wasn't no support. Like I'm still thinking like, even when I was a kid, I'm playing these sports and I'm winning all these accolades and stuff. There's nobody showing up to support me. There's nobody coming to nothing at the school. Like even when I talk about the Franklin game, I didn't go home and somebody was like, oh, great game, or good job, you're doing really good.
Yeah.
Like that stuff wasn't happening for me. Yeah. So that's like even now, like I'm like reassurance and recognition of like you're doing the right stuff. It feels good to get that stuff from people.
Yeah, that's real. And like as you were going through that, right, still angry, right, there were a lot of things that kind of just impacted, because life was easy, but then things happen.
Yeah. So yeah, like one of the big things that kind of was an eye opener to just how I was navigating the space and living and fighting and arguing and going out. I got shot 2 months prior to my daughter's 2nd birthday.
Okay. And what was that? Can you walk us through that? You mind unpacking that?
Was out with my friends over in the University District, just kicking it, hanging out. Kind of a friend that got into it with somebody else, ended up smoothing it out and it being cool. Kind of walked down the block and then argument kind of ensued again. Me and my friend, and there's 2 dudes right next to us. They both had guns. I seen it at my friend's stomach, so I just hit it and told him to run. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to get behind no car, so I was just running down the street, and then I felt like I couldn't keep running, and so I fell, and then I like kind of hid behind some cars. But I thought I like just twisted my ankle bad or something. But then I was like, I need to go to the hospital, and I tried to get out to walk, and I like fell, and there was just blood in the bottom of my LeBrons, and I was like, I got shot, and so there was a lot of people at the hospital. And that was another time where it felt like, people want to see you go through something, or you like be nosy. Right. And so like, cause after that, there wasn't nobody. After I got shot, people found out it was cool. Nobody was coming to the hospital room before I was discharged. Nobody came out my mom's house really. I just was telling my good friend Janelle like how I appreciate her coming by to visit me, because there wasn't a lot of people doing that. And I know a lot of people was at school and doing their own, like had their life to live. But Mikey, he stayed with me a couple nights because he was over there with, I think, torn something or broken ankle, and we just laid up together. We just laid up together, hurt. I fell flat on my face because I was on oxys, and but there wasn't like, that was another lonely time where it's like, okay, nobody's showing up again, and this is something where I could have lost my life. Yeah, and it just I held on to that.
I was gonna say, do you still live with that pain?
Yeah, but after what happened a couple months back, that's what like kind of pushed me into like not using old ways to cope, or not like I can't be the 21-year-old that's 37 still using those same ways to move forward in life and support my kids or kids I work with.
Yeah, that's important. I think that you going through that as your friend, like I watched that you kind of shell up a little bit more, and you came back home, but you started working, and you were working at a job.
I actually started first. I was trying to finish school, so I went to Shoreline, was working part-time. It just wasn't working out. Was at UPS, and then the fall of 2005, I got hired at Pepsi. And so I was there for 11 and a half years.
And what was that transition like? Because you were working nonstop throughout that process, right?
It was rough because it was long hours there. And at first it started like my job would start at 7. I worked till 7, sometimes 8, 9, can't leave because I'm bottom on seniority. So I'm making money, but I'm not being an active father, like, cause it's just work and sleep and change diapers here and there. And then as my daughter got older, like I wasn't being as present as I would like to assume I was.
Yeah. And throughout that space, right? I know how much you love school, right? Or furthering your education. So was there ever a time where you had to go to school full time, or did you ever have to make a sacrifice?
Yeah. Ultimately, once I at the end of my time at Pepsi, and I just like, this kind of isn't for me. I started coaching youth football, and I was like, okay, like I like working with kids. I know I like raising my kids, so maybe I do something in that field.
Who were you not cussing? Who were you? Because you do be cussing, but who you coach? Who were you coaching for at the time?
I coached the CD Panthers for 2 years, and prior to those 2 years, I would go up there, probably like help here and there. And my guy Freddie G, rest in peace, he would be like, "Man, you got these people out here playing that are coaching that ain't never even done nothing. You got to do more than just walk up here and say hi and bye." And like that's what kind of pushed me into coaching. And then I convinced my good friend Indoor to come coach with me. And then from that, we ended up at Kennedy Catholic.
Okay, Kennedy Catholic. So but making that sacrifice, right? You talked a lot about you talk a lot outside of here about furthering your education, and you had to make a sacrifice of you were doing really good at Pepsi.
Yeah. So
what was it? Can you walk us through that?
Yeah. Once I realized I ultimately was trying to get a promotion to be kind of more like a warehouse manager type thing, because I had already I was a shop steward there. I worked on the floor. I knew the whole warehouse. I knew the whole neighborhood. And it kind of was like I was kind of pushed out, like not deserving of a position that I was overqualified for. So I got back into school, wanted to finish my AA. And then I first left from Pepsi and was working there and for the school district because I had enough personal time and stuff to just only work a day or two here and there.
I mean, for you to give up your good job, right?
Yeah.
Making that sacrifice did you deal with any type of hardships in that space? Like, I mean, some people be like, wait, you're making good money.
Yeah,
why would you go back?
I wasn't really supported. Me and my guy, Anthony Washington, talk a lot about just how people, like your own people, don't really show up for you when you need that push or that, oh man, you got it, you'll figure it out. Like there wasn't a lot of that from my own people. It was people that I wouldn't expect supporting me, saying that's a good idea for you, you'll be great at that. And I was working, I went from working just the one job to I had to work 2 jobs, be in school full time, and help raise my son that was living with me. So
and your son. So what year was Micah born?
Micah was born in 2011.
Yeah. So having a daughter and then having a son. Tell us a little bit about Micah.
Micah's a clown, man. Like Micah, he loves basketball. He's all on TikTok he's dancing. Like he's the little kid I never got to be.
Yeah.
Like he's just enjoying his life. He's throwing shades on. He's making friends, and like I just love it. I love it for him. I love to see him grow and become the young man that he's becoming.
There was I would say, like, watching you have Alasia and then watching you have Micah, for people that know you, right? Just watch this change that happened within you. It
sucks because like, Alasia was my first kid, and like I didn't feel like I did the best. I know I didn't do the best. And so that was part of the reason why her mom left to California with her. And ultimately Alasia ended up living a very good life while they moved down there. But with my son, I just felt like I had to be more hands-on, more intentional with how I'm raising him, because I want him to be a reflection of me as a young man, and continue to build a solid foundation for both of my kids to build off of.
Yeah. And you are building a solid foundation, not just with your kids as well as your friends, but also with the students that you work with, right? Yeah. So tell us a little bit more about like what you're doing now, because you wear very many hats. You coach so many teams.
Yeah. So coaching, as far as coaching, I just like to tell kids, I'm not a coach. I'm a coach, but I'm teaching you life lessons. The things that you incorporate from football translate to real life. You're not going to always like your coach. You're not always going to like your manager. You're not always going to like their coworker. So you got to figure out how to be successful with this team, or how you're going to move forward with working with people you don't get along with, or how you're going to work harder to be the starter or be the top person. And then when we talk about the students that I work with, I work at interagency. So there's a lot of kids that are going through.
Can you explain to people like what interagency is?
Interagency is an alternative school that provides an alternative learning experience for kids. A lot of kids come with, trauma, homeless. They come from possibly gang involvement. They have, some of them are going to court. They're trying to figure out life, and with COVID and just already their personal challenges they're going through in their household is hard for them. And so like they need more people to be in this space. They need more people supporting, mental health awareness. They need more people providing resources for them that you can get at your comprehensive school, but you're not getting it where the kids really need it the most.
Yeah. And throughout that space, right? You've been working in this position, like as an advocate.
Yeah. So I'm a reentry intervention specialist. So I support kids coming to our program, but I also try to support kids going back to, if let's say a kid's going back to Franklin, I want to make sure they're not credit deficient. I want to make sure that if they were suspended, that we've worked on giving them supports that they can go back to a school that has 1,000 kids and be successful. Go back to a classroom that has 30 kids and be able to do independent work or work in a group.
That seems tough, but at the same time, navigating kids, right,
Yeah.
and mentoring them is a lot. What can community do to help better support those kids in that space?
I think there needs to be more intentional support for the young African-American males that we all know are not being as supported in Seattle Public Schools. I think there needs to be more intentional support and resources allocated to those programs so they can receive possibly the mental health services they need. They can receive after-school programs. They can receive discounted access to possibly kickboxing or something else to do. Like when I was in high school, there was always something to do after school. There was a place to go.
Well, there also was a community around it,
yeah.
right? A lot of the kids are coming from, if I'm not wrong, but coming from other areas, like around.
Even transportation, like there's no buses. So everybody has to get on the bus or use an Orca card. Even on the weekends, like we would have places to go play basketball. We had late night till midnight, and then you got a van dropping you off. You get to eat, you get to run around. You're able to enjoy being a kid. There's no spaces to be a kid no more.
Yeah. And that's real, and what I hope community can be able to support interagency and all the work that they have been doing for a number of years.
Yeah.
The staff there is amazing, but I always just find that there's just a big call to action to continue to support quote unquote all schools in general, but alternative schools.
Yeah, there's always more work to be done, whether it's personal, whether it's through group, whether it's through community, through schools. There's always more work that can be done.
Absolutely. So I do want to ask you some more questions because I know that 2020 was something, but 2022 was something else. So we'll get into that in just a second. I'm here with Brandon Sanchez, and you are watching We Live in Color.
A world of wonder awaits at Pacific Northwest Ballet's The Nutcracker. Treat your loved ones to the Northwest's favorite holiday tradition at Seattle Center's McCall Hall. Tickets start at $27. Visit pnb.org.
COVID-19 hurt my income, my health, and my family. We were about to lose our home when we heard we might be eligible for homeowner assistance funds from the government. We called 1-877-894-HOME, and a housing counselor stepped in, talked to our lender, and saved our home. Federal funding details at washingtonhalf.org. That's washingtonhaf.org. www.converge.org.
And we're back with We Live in Color. I'm here with Brandon Sanchez. So, I mean, we've unpacked a lot. We've been talking about a lot. I'm so happy that you're here. We talked a lot about you starting to work as an educator, and let alone you being a coach, right? So, what has like the last 3-4 years been, 5 years been for you?
I would probably say as an adult, that's probably been the most challenging time of my life to navigate. I ultimately ended up probably about 5 years ago, almost 6, had to go through a co-parenting court case, just as far as trying to fight for my rights of having my son. Like, I spoke a lot about my kids. Like, those are the most important people in my life because I have to continue to show up for them. But that was hard navigating that space by myself, like filling out paperwork, knowing I have to get a copy to the defendant and get a copy to the court. Like, there's a lot of things navigating that space that we don't know as Black men. And like, there are places to help you with that, but those are conversations that we should be having a lot more amongst each other to support.
Do you think that there's any conversations?
No, a lot of people are too prideful. That's part of the reason why, I chose to even just show up here. Like, my daughter would be like, tell your story, There's a lot more, but it's like, this is just how I feel. Like, we should be able to have more conversations. Like,
who should be able to?
Black men,
Okay.
men, like, we should be able to cry, not just to our therapist or to our wife or girlfriend. Like, there should be more outlets we give each other, but we don't give us that space. Like, we got to be able to give ourselves grace to be that, to be vulnerable, to show up for yourself. I try to tell my kids they need to go to therapy. I'm in therapy. So like,
okay. So I love me some therapy. Shout out to Washington Therapy Fund, but tell us your therapy experience.
It's been great. I started back about 5 years ago when me and my son's mom had split, and just trying to figure out what I needed because of me navigating spaces out of anger, or me feeling like, I view things win and lose. Like, I don't know the in between. I didn't really know about emotions, regulating emotions or emotional intelligence until this year, talking about my emotions. Like, no, it's more than anger. Why are you just mad? So I'm learning how to step through the spaces versus just saying, all right, no, whatever, is cool, or yeah, I won, or like in that space.
And that's real, and I did want to talk a little bit about this year.
Yeah.
Because like you just disappeared for a minute, right? And I'm so used to me pulling the disappearing acts, but you pulled one, right?
Yeah.
Do you want to? Do you feel comfortable unpacking?
Unpack it.
Okay.
So back in July, I ultimately was. I ended up losing 60 pounds in 4 weeks. I didn't know what was going on with me. I wasn't able to eat. I was unrecognizable. I was at a point where I was like, oh, I'm gonna die. Like, it was scarier than being shot.
Did you know what was going on?
No, okay. I had 3 weeks prior, I found out that I had got nuanced diabetes.
Okay.
And so,
can you explain a little bit about nuanced diabetes?
Where my body's storing all the sugar and using everything else. It's eating away at my fat. The sugar's just constant, and my blood sugar's high, my A1C is high, and I'm not able to eat. But so the day I found out, I didn't even want to have my mom come pick me up, but my friend Brandon wasn't answering, so I had to call my mom, and she seen me, and she just was like, what's going on with you? I was like, I have to go to the hospital to check on my pancreas. And so I didn't know, and my kidney. I didn't know if I was having kidney failure or whatever. I had to be rushed to the emergency room, spend 5 days there. And like, I just kind of, like, my daughter would be calling me. I wouldn't answer because I didn't like the way I looked. As somebody I let come up there, I just didn't want, I pretty much kicked you out after.
You did. You kicked me out. I was about to tear that hospital up, but you did have that compared to like before, right?
Yeah.
You had the support,
Yeah,
right?
I had the support, but I didn't use the people I was supposed to. I didn't lean on the people because I was so used to not having people show up or telling somebody I need them and they be there. And so instead of doing that, I went back to my old ways and was like, I'll figure it out. I'll be all right. And it wasn't fair to nobody, especially people that were in my circle that I know would have showed up for me if I'd have let them.
Yeah. And then here we are, right? Yeah. You are just as open as I've ever seen before, but just knowing that you are doing so many other things in community, right? Yeah. So what's going on with Kennedy? Have y'all lost the game yet?
Yeah, we lost the first game of the season against Eastside Catholic. Playoffs start this week, so we'll have our playoff game at 1:00 at Highline Memorial. If people want to come support the Lancers, we plan on making it, a fun ride. Hopefully we're playing in December for a state title.
Yeah. And then your work with interagency, how can people support those efforts?
I think just if school board meetings, just speaking out, if there's resources available in the community that that young adults, teenagers, even school, we provide school access up to 21, GED program. If there's people out there that have information or resources that can support young people, I'm more than willing to take it back to my principal, my admin.
And that's important, y'all. Do you have a work email you want to give? Or Okay, well, we can do that later. He's looking at me like you're stretching it, and I am. But in the meantime, we do have the We Live in Color tribute. And before you say who you would like to tribute, I would like you to save that because this show is about you and the work that you do. I celebrate you as a friend. We have been through many things, but I'm not the only person that feels that way. Curtis?
Sandy, what's up, bro? It's your boy Nate Robb in the building, man. Just wanted to say, man, I appreciate you, man. I've been knowing you since we were kids, man. You've grown so much from being a good friend, a great father, and just a cool bro. And I really appreciate you, man. And God bless you and your family and continue to grow. Show kids, what it takes to be a successful young man in this world. Being a great coach, I really appreciate you helping out the kids and doing what you do every day, bro. Blessings. Love.
When I think about Brandon Sanchez, I think about growth. I think about sacrifice, and I think about a man who didn't allow his excuses to become his reality. I've been knowing Sandy for 24 going on 25 years, so I could probably assist him with telling his life story. Phenomenal father, phenomenal mentor, phenomenal friend, someone who will literally give the shirt off his back to a complete stranger, and someone who is constantly trying to evolve and turn himself into a better man. Couldn't be more proud to call myself a friend of his. Extremely, extremely proud of him and really looking forward to what's to come.
Sandy, proud of you, man. You've made a lot of changes. There's been a lot of growth. People know you for a lot of things. A lot of people may not know how selfless you are, how caring, and how vulnerable you made yourself over these last couple of years, man. You talk about your experiences to help others. You've been real selfless, man. Just appreciate you. We're supporting you. And just keep growing, man. Sky's the limit. Love you, bro.
So congratulations, Brandon Sanchez, my guy. B. Sandy. Man, I see you doing great things out there back in the town, bro. And I salute you, man. For real. Keep it going, man. And we're going to give you your roses right now because you deserve them, bro. So congratulations, man. A heart member.
My guy, Brandon Sanchez, a.k.a. Sandy, a.k.a. Sandwich. You was known as a little fighter. Now you're known as fighting for the kids in our community, trying to change the narrative for the youth. Man, I'm proud of you. I'm proud of the coach you became, the father you became, and the brother you became, man. Congratulations.
Sandy Sassolini, or should I say Mr. Sanchez, because we grown now. But I just want to say that I am amazed to see the grown man that you've become, the father that you've become. It is not easy being raised by a single mother. And to know you back in high school when you were just an angry child, to see you making a choice to become the grown man that you are and the father that you are and the commitment that you have to your own personal growth and your children is amazing. And I am thankful and blessed to know you. Congratulations.
Sandy, I heard we were shining a light on you, so just wanted to stop by and say that I also am proud of you, have acknowledged your growth into the man that you are, the man that you're becoming, and the father that you've always been. Again, extremely proud of you. I know that a lot of people around you are. You're doing it right, so keep it up. Love you, friend.
Hey, Mr. Sanchez, just wanted to let you know that I'm proud of you. And I acknowledge all of the hard work that you've put in to becoming a better man and a better father. Once upon a time, there was a hot-headed, stubborn young man, but God, won't he do it? Has truly done a transformation in your life that has allowed us to peacefully co-parent, and also gave you the ability to be a positive role model within your community. So keep doing great things and keep reaching for your goal to make a positive impact on all the young people that you encounter.
My nigga Sandy, you will always be B is for beefing. Okay, we've had this conversation of growth over like the past couple of years, and you've really been putting a lot of work into it. We've been able to relate, me and you, because we have that reputation of being angry and crazy, and so you've always acknowledged my, growth, and I hope I've acknowledged yours, because I really am proud of you. Even you being willing to go on a show and express yourself shows a lot, so you should be proud of yourself also. And like you always tell me, just keep going at your own pace, and whether you decide to be the bigger person or whoop some ass, I got your back, my nigga. So yeah, I'm glad your daughter asked your people to do this, because you really do deserve your flowers now. Love you.
What's up? It's Namir. Happy birthday, Uncle Sandy. I just want to say thank you for always being supportive, even though, when I didn't ask, and always being there supporting even decisions that I make. And, I always had fun playing, 2K, playing the game with you, even with my little scrub friends. Always pretty cool uncle, always doing that with me. So I really appreciate that. And, definitely you were there when I was a kid too. So I definitely really just want to say thank you for, being a part of my life when I was growing up. So thank you.
Hi, Dad. It's Elijah. I know you're going to be really upset when you see all the videos that have come through because you didn't know about them. But these videos are just from people who really love you, care for you, and especially me. You have been my #1 supporter, along with my mom, just making me a better person and helping me through the things that I've gone through. And I'm really proud of you for even just being brave enough to share your story with all these people. And I'm really just thankful that I can call you my dad. And I love you so much.
Hey, my name is Micah. If you don't know my dad, his name is Brandon Sanchez. He coaches football at Kennedy Catholic and my basketball team. I'm so appreciative and happy that he coaches me. Love you, Dad.
Yes. We celebrate you, brother. How does it feel taking that in?
That was beautiful. I really appreciate everybody that said something. All those people really know me and seen the work I've put in to be in this space. So I know I got to continue going for myself as well as my friends and family and people in the community. So that's my plan.
Well, that's not all. We got some more people here. So, we got a couple more people here. Come on, Mikey. Don't play with me. Come on, AG. Let's go. At the end of the day, we all here for you, brother. Come on, Mikey. Come on this side. Yeah, go ahead.
Is
Yeah, yes, on.
Yeah, I just wanted to tell you. Come on,
I'm
man.
not trying to hit on you. I
Get
just want you
off
to put
me.
the mic up to you.
I just want to tell you, bro, that I appreciate you and being appreciating. You know, we grew up together, being through it all. You know, we done seen it all, and you helped me mature a lot in life. You know, and it's been some tough times, and most definitely you done looked out for me, and I done lived with you and everything, man. And I just appreciate you, bro, and I love you. You know, and you're most definitely doing big shit. You know what I'm saying? So I'm always here for you. You know, I got your back regardless. And this guy, you know, I got your back, man. And, you know, and I'm proud of you, what you're doing, man.
Thanks. Love you, bro.
Yeah.
Brother Sanchez, man, you know I love you, dog. Even though you give me, you know, hell all the time, man. But, you know, you're always my bro. You've been there for me even when that little situation happened back when we was in high school, man, and I got threw out the house. You was right there for me, bro. You had my back through all the thorns and all that, man. I love you, dog. Appreciate everything you do for the community.
Thank you, bro. Love you too.
Thank you very much. Get up out of here, man. We'll talk about this after the show. But in the meantime, like in closing, like I was saying before, you know, I talk a lot to O and homeboy Dre and people at Converge, you know, why We Live in Color is here, and so happy for that. But personally, for myself, when I think about myself living in color, is because of people like yourself. You are my brother. You have literally pushed me to my limits and pushing me to show up for myself. When I have failed 7 times, you made me stand up 8. And I appreciate you coming on this show in your full self. I can't wait to see the other things that you have going on in community. I will be there to support you. Wins and wins, because it ain't no more losing here.
I appreciate it.
I love you.
Never losing. It's always lessons.
Yes. Okay. Oh, I knew he was going to drop one of them gems today. I knew he was going to drop one, but I thank you, brother, and I love you, man.
I love you too. Appreciate it.
This is my favorite show, because I mean, just having my best friend here and having there's other community members that don't have an opportunity to be vulnerable or an opportunity to look at their life and be able to get the support that they need. Black men lead, in case anyone get it twisted, but we also need to be in an area to fully support our brothers out here. There are so many community organizations and people out there doing the work. Cortez Charles, I see you. Dre Franklin, I see you. Marvin Marshall, I see you. Omari Salisbury, Kun Love, I see you. Teasy, I see you. Kendrick, I see you. And there's so many other people that I can name in this space. But at the end of the day, this show is an opportunity for us to, when you do see a Black man, show up for him just as much as you need him to show up for you. You're watching We Live in Color. Have a great night.
Converge Media produces culturally relevant content for Black and urban audiences. Our coverage is raw, transparent, and objective, praised by community leaders, government officials, and residents. Support Converge Media today via Venmo, Cash App, or PayPal at Converge Media.